Nuggets have 5 on 4, and Jokic, oh no!
I'm not sure if he settled it a little bit. He took a little bit of an exception.
You can't trash talk the best, or they'll burn you. And for the last few years, the Joker has been the best. Here are the times Nuggets superstar Nikola Jokic has proven that trash-talking him is always a bad idea. The two-time MVP has established himself as one of the goofiest and most likable personalities off of the court. Oftentimes, even the referees can't help but laugh. But he's also a tremendously fierce competitor who refuses to back down from confrontation. Markieff Morris is one of those old-school enforcers, someone who will lay a hard hit to protect his teammates or to send a message. The journeyman forward was playing with the Miami Heat in the 2021-22 season. Heat culture has always been about grinding for wins and not backing down from their opponents. In November 2021, Morris's Heat were down 18 late in the fourth. Jokic grabbed a rebound and began to bring it up the court. At half court, Morris sent a hard foul to Jokic's chest. Jokic is a wizard in transition. Morris was trying to stop Denver from getting an easy bucket and running up to score. It's understandable, but still a dirty play. Jokic didn't miss a beat before barreling down the court and laying a hard shoulder into Morris, who was looking the other way. Morris was laying on the ground as Jokic continued to talk, standing above him like a 7-foot action hero.
Not sure what set Jokic off.
It wasn't Jokic's finest moment. Plays like this left a dark stain on the NBA a couple decades ago, but Jokic proved that even though he's considered a finesse player, he won't back down from even the NBA's toughest. Jokic's vengeance isn't a new concept. He's been making trash talkers look silly long before he became the NBA's best player. Back in 2018, he and Denver were matched up against the Los Angeles Lakers. They were led by young forward Julius Randle long before Randle found stardom as well. Late in the fourth, the Lakers led by 9. The game was all but over. Despite his lead, Randle got a little chippy. He shoved Jokic without provocation. Jokic didn't back down. Held back by his teammates, he spread his arms as if to say, "Let's do this."
And some words between Randle and Jokic now.
Well, Randle just shoved Jokic to the ground, and I don't know if he was trying to sell it or not.
Denver lost, and Jokic had no chance for an encore retaliation that game. But like they say, revenge is a dish best served cold. 2021 served as a career year for both players. Jokic won his first MVP, and Randle became an All-Star. He won the NBA's Most Improved Player after averaging upward of 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Only the 6th player to do so. One of those players, in fact, was Jokic himself that same season. The two superstars matched up at Madison Square Garden that January. The Joker finally got payback by dunking right over him. Jokic isn't a guy who's known for his high-flying dunks. He thrives off of skill, not athleticism. Throughout his career, he's only dunked 165 times. That's about 2% of his field goal attempts. But when he's trying to prove a point, he'll slam it in the opponent's face. But he wasn't done. That May, they played in Denver. He had a mini dunk contest, slamming it down several times throughout the game. Denver blew out the Knicks in both games. In the May game, Randle was limited to 14 points, while the Joker scored 32. There are no two different centers than Dwight Howard and Nikola Jokic. While Dwight, nicknamed Superman, set NBA Twitter on fire for his high-flying dunks and aggressive swats out of bounds, his offensive game lacked any semblance of skill. Jokic, on the other hand, lacks athleticism, but might be the most skilled big man to ever pick up a ball. While playing in the 2020 COVID bubble, a peak Jokic met a past his prime Dwight Howard in the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers and the Nuggets were playing in the Western Conference Finals. The Nuggets were seeking their first finals appearance in franchise history, while Dwight Howard was on his quest to get his first ring in the twilight of his career. While scrambling for a loose ball, Dwight popped Jokic out of bounds and was called for a foul. The two started chirping at each other, Superman versus the Joker. It never went past a little trash talk, and the two hugged it out after the game. The Lakers ended up winning the title, with Dwight finally getting that coveted ring. But Jokic got the last laugh. After a stop in Philadelphia, Dwight came back to the Lakers in 2021 for his final season. Jokic reminded Dwight that this was his league now. Dwight's time has been over for a decade. He drove from the three-point line and set Dwight up in the post. He did a series of fakes to get Dwight to bite and jump in the air before Jokic laid it in for an easy score. Dwight, once upon a time the league's premier defensive big man, looked like a fool. Sometimes, Jokic's fire comes out as loyalty to his teammates. In December 2018, the same year Jokic broke onto the scene with his first-ever All-NBA season, things got a little chippy in the last season of a win against the Oklahoma City Thunder. With the Nuggets holding a 9-point lead with only 35 seconds left, the teams were lined up for a jump ball. Jokic's teammate, Jamal Murray, was fighting for position with OKC's former MVP Russell Westbrook. Westbrook took exception to this and shoved the Denver guard. The two got into each other's faces as teammates flooded them. Without a second of hesitation, Jokic raced over to Westbrook and gave him a piece of his mind. Thunder's enforcer Steven Adams had to pull Jokic aside. You don't have to be a master lip reader to see what Westbrook is saying here, threatening Jokic as they're separated.
Well, that's what losing a game with 35 seconds left would do to you.
Their next matchup, Jokic buried a three-pointer with Westbrook's hand right in his face. He was unfazed. Steven Adams, the guy who held him back, didn't emerge unscathed from Jokic's revenge. He overpowered Adams for another easy score. Jokic finished one assist shy of a triple-double in the 11-point win, while Russ struggled with 13 points on 33% shooting. Gary Payton was renowned as maybe one of the greatest trash talkers of the 1990s. He was a lockdown defender who could guard just about anybody, and he wasn't shy about letting his opponents know. His son, Gary Payton II, was a breakout role player for the 2022 NBA champion Warriors. While nowhere near the superstar status his father held, he's a competitive glue guy who was an important piece on Golden State's championship defense. Payton met Jokic's Nuggets in the first round en route to their finals win. While Jokic was the best player on the court, his lackluster team was no match for the Warriors. In Game 2, the two got up close and personal. Jokic was fighting for an offensive rebound amidst a swarm of white Warrior jerseys. Jokic, one of the league's best rebounders, got the rebound and went back up to lay it out. Out of nowhere, Payton II elevated for a soul-crushing block. He turned back to talk a little trash, looking a lot like his dad 2 decades earlier. The Warriors scored the next play, and after a timeout, Payton walked by Jokic and smacked him on the rear. It might have been a playful shout-out to the superstar he just burned, or it was another step in trash-talking his opponent. Either way, the Joker took exception. He strolled toward Payton, looking for a little retaliation. The small guard, Steph Curry, stepped in front of the massive Jokic, keeping the situation from escalating.
EP2 had that block. Little swat on the behind. Jokic not having it right now.
Jokic went on a tear to finish out the series. In the final 3 games of the series, Jokic averaged 35 points and 15 rebounds while shooting an otherworldly 66% from the field. For good measure, he shot 50% from the three on over 3 attempts per game. He was absolutely bullying the Warriors, a man possessed. The Warriors won the series, but Jokic reminded Payton and the league not to tick him off. Jokic has made a career out of making his opponents look silly. He's always a step ahead of the defense. If you guard him too loose, he'll burn you with a 3. Too tight, and he just gets around you. If you double team him, he'll find the open man you forgot about. He's one of the most skilled players in the league and has an incredible basketball IQ. And as he's continuously proven, he'll make you look like an absolute fool if you try to trash talk him.